Emotionally Unavailable.
Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Melissa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. Guess I'll mention this. Valentine's Day is a little bit of a mixed bag for me because my dad died on Valentine's Day when I was 15 years old. And, I don't know. Then my fucking grandma died on Valentine's Day in 2015. So it's a little bit weird for me. It's usually a day spent trying very hard to not let it be tainted. Because that's when people have been gone this long, the grief is different and it's very weird, but anniversaries have a way of kind of just pulling you under sometimes. So, if that's not your experience, that's cool. Glad for you. Usually what happens is that my expectations weren't met by Brian and other people in my life on Valentine's Day, and then I get really sad. It's so stupid. So with my new learning and tools this year, I'm anxious to see kind of how the day goes. So anyway, that leads me to this point. My next guest today's guest, my Lord Jesus. My guest today is Mitch Nakora Baker. And everything about meeting him online and then recording with him and then now this episode being posted on Valentine's Day all just feels so divine. And I messaged him to be like, yo, your episode airs Friday. And just so you know, I don't feel like it's a coincidence that it was your episode that's airing on a day that means a great deal to me. And, I know that I say this about everyone and I mean it, but God, I fucking connected with Mitch so much. Just such a spiritual connection. And, he's just like the rest of us little luminaries who found his light and is shining from within onto others, and I'm in awe of his bravery and his rawness and his realness and his love and his truth and his light. And we just we connected like I do with pretty much anyone who comes on my show, and I just know that anyone sent to the show is meant for my energy, and it makes me so fucking happy when I get to walk away from connecting with someone on such a deep, intimate level. And hope Mitch feels that too, I used to be embarrassed to say shit like that because I was like, well, what if I like them more than they like me? Anyway, so, yeah, I'm excited. Okay, to tell you about Mitch. So, Mitch has, a YouTube channel called, I fuck this up every time, so I want to look it up really quick. Mitch, where did you go? My God. I had you all ready and loaded so that I could look this up. Okay, Here There Be Gods. So really his big message is bro, you're the creator of your own reality. You've got everything you need inside of you. And that may sound like a familiar message because Mama be saying that too. And that's how I knew we were little kindred spirits. And I'm going to get woo-woo for a second. Okay. But for me, synchronicities like this make me have chills because sometimes I'm like, oh, am I finally aligning with all of the people from my past lives? The people I have soul contracts with. And I don't know that I have a soul contract with Mitch, but I sure do fucking feel like I've known him forever. So, okay, I'll make sure to include all of his links in the show notes. And otherwise, I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day. Maybe Valentine's Day is tainted for you too in some way or another, but maybe today we could just rebrand what this day is and make it whatever the fuck we want. So happy Valentine's, Galentine's, Galentine's, whatever the fuck you is. Just celebrate you, period. And I fucking love the shit out of you. I'm so glad you're here. And my life would not be complete without this show. I can say that. Like, no matter what happens in the future, no matter if I ever make a fucking dime off this show, my heart is in it. My soul is in it. I put every fucking thing I have into this show because I'm finally connecting and I'm finally able to use my voice and I'm not scared to talk. So that is a gift that the fact that I have listeners affords me, because I don't know, maybe I would have quit after episode 11. That's what everyone always says. I'm trying to figure out, like, people be boasting, like, I'm the top 1% of podcasts. And I Googled the other day, I said, how the fuck do they know that? And they said, oh, you can get some metrics based off this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll probably hurt my own damn feelings. And damn it, I love this show, so I'm not going to fuck it up. Anyway, all right, so I don't remember what I was saying, but I do love you. And, you know, hey, if you are like one of Mitch's people listening to this episode because of him, you are fucking lucky. And I know that you're amazing too if you're in his energy. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope you like the show. I'm sure you will, because I'm fabulous. So, I'm just being silly. I've had a really fucking good day. So, I've had a really good week, and I'm sitting in immense gratitude for my life right now. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this with me. You are my little founders, you know? Like, it's a small crowd, but it's there, and I appreciate you so fucking much, dude. So, all right, I guess I'll quit with that bullshit now. But anyway, I love you so much. Here's me and the wonderful Mitch.
Emotionally unavailable.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Is it morning there? What time is it?
Yeah, it's 6 a.m. for me.
Oh, you signed up for 6 a.m.?
Yeah. I also got up I got up earlier too because I wanted to
Did
make
I?
sure that I wasn't half asleep. Even if I do sound it, I've been up a
I
while.
was about to say, are you doing okay on the half asleep thing? How the hell are you today at 6 a.m.?
No, I'm really good, thank you. I'm excited actually to be here, but I just I'm just trying to make sure that I can be heard, and I move my stuff around so that because my kids usually get up about this time, and my son in particular he's got no respect for anyone else's
Same.
like, you know what I'm saying? So if I was to say to him, oh, I need you to be just tone it down, he will absolutely come along and scream. So I'll move it.
I have
How
a
are you?
17-year-old that will be like, he's at school right now, but he'll be like cussing at his video games in the room right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, you can hear that. People will stop. Or when my 10-year-old's in a mood, she'll be having a fit in the living room. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening in my life? I'm good. I'm in a mood today, so I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't know why, except for whatever the fuck is going on in the sky, I guess.
Yep. Awesome. I want to hear more about that. That'll make me feel more comfortable, definitely.
Well, I really don't understand why, except, I mean, maybe I'm a little tired, but I feel like I went to bed at a good time. I don't remember waking up in the middle of the night, which sometimes happens. I got up at a decent time. I didn't spend too much time sitting on my ass. I mean, I did, but not the way I used to. I don't know. Like, I don't understand why I'm bitchy today, but I'm a little bitchy. Well, all the things came up. It was like so stupid. I was like, why do I like feel a little bit abandoned, a little bit of rejection, a little bit of loss, a little bit of betrayal, and a little bit of neglect, like for no fucking reason. All of those things are just like sitting on me. So I don't know. I was thinking possibly, you'd been receiving some sort of call it a spiritual download of something that you didn't know where to put, and maybe it was meant for me. I was hoping you were going to come with something like that.
Actually, now that you mention it, before I went to bed, so I suppose, what's the time now? So I went to bed around about 6 or 7 hours ago, and for a decent part of yesterday afternoon, I was feeling very different to how I usually do. I'm usually able to kind of keep I get angry, I get fucking really shitty, but in terms of just like those other kinds of things, I was starting to feel a little bit of those yesterday afternoon, and I want to say they were mine, but I think if anything, it was more distraction that allowed those. So they were mine, but I think they were because I was focused on other things, which allowed all of those to kind of creep in. So if I was sending any of that stuff your way, my apologies. So what you could do is, if you don't really know where they're coming from, you could absolutely just attribute it to that, and then we could just kick that shit out of here because I don't want it anymore anyway.
Yeah, I don't want it. You don't want it. Fuck it. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so I tried to understand what it is that you do based off your social media. Here's what I'm left with.
This is actually really helpful. I should get a pen. I'm gonna write this down because this is gold. This is going to tell me exactly how things are perceived by someone who has. I need this.
Now you've put all this pressure on what I'm about to say.
No, that's good.
Literally it. This is literally it. Well, okay, you were sent to me, so that means we're very similar. And this is what I'm gonna guess. You've been through some shit, and spirituality is something that you came across, and it really resonated with you, and you've grown in that a lot, and it's kind of given you this sense of light that you like want to be the light for others and show them this way. I don't know if you are into entrepreneurship, but I have a feeling you're at least dipping your toes in it. But it feels like you're on a spiritual path, and that's your light, the light you want to share with others. And maybe you, like me, want to show people it doesn't have to be so fucking hard. Yes.
That's pretty accurate, actually. Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding. You sure we haven't spoken about this before? So for the most part, that is pretty accurate. My biggest thing is that, yes, I've had things happen. Nothing. How do I put this? So how do I put this? I want to try and break some of the stereotypes and some of the like social conditioning things that we have going on. So as an example, yes, some things have happened to me, but I prefer to look at it like it's for me.
Right.
But even right there, I almost felt compelled to say, there are other people out there that have had it worse than me, which first of all,
I knew it. I heard it on the tip of your tongue. And I was like,
Which,
you're going to minimalize, trivialize, and dismiss anything you've experienced. Okay, pretty typical.
And so that, right, so you're right. So that is one of the things that we are, I guess, conditioned to do, which is look at others' suffering or misfortune and place it above our own. And if you focus too much on yourself, you're considered selfish and all of that sort of stuff. And that's always been, it's like you see that everywhere. And I even found myself teaching it to my kids initially. And they, like, without any understanding of the world, they didn't think that way. So it was actually going to be would have been me that would have taught them to put others before themselves, their comfort below everyone else's, and their needs below everyone else's. And then they'd just be another cog in the wheel, in the machine. And I've always questioned things, even if I kind of got beat down and just accepted it. And I wanted to make sure that kind of the next generation of people that come through don't just blindly follow. And so I've had some things happen, and I managed to take them and look at them in a positive light. It took a long time. Even the smallest things before used to just like fucking hit me hard, and not just be like, absolutely flipping out. And so it didn't really start out spiritual. If anything, it started with like YouTube videos,
self-help shit or personal development.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
Tony Robbins.
No, actually, it was more along the lines of so I think I started listening to it was Jordan Peterson originally, but there's a guy who I actually joined his program, him and his friend's program for a while. His name's Aaron Dowdy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before. Anyway, I'll leave it with that. YouTube helped me a lot, and that's kind of why I started there, because people usually go there for things. And
you were like, I could do that too.
I've always wanted to do film and acting and television and singing and stuff and performing, but I always got weighed down by nerves.
Yeah. Are you a Gemini?
No, I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, just the same.
Yeah.
We're sisters.
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I got no clue, actually. This is one of the other things that I find funny, is that I'm dabbling in all of these different things, and
me too. Idea. I don't, and you know what? I fucking love that. I don't think that you have to like commit to anything, like, and be some fucking scholar of all things, like I'm learning about human design. I'm pretty into it, but I don't know shit about it. I know I'm a generator. I know my fucking daughter's a manifester, and I'm trying to learn as much about that as I can, because she a little bitch sometimes, whatever. But I like, with astrology, it is my fucking religion pretty much, but I don't know all that much about it, but I don't feel like I have to either. Like, I'm learning, but the spiritual stuff's pretty new to me. I mean, I've always been spiritual, but I was very afraid of it as a kid because I was raised in a super religious area. So I'm in the States, in Oklahoma, so Bible Belt. And so really, even if your church is not fundamentalist here, everything here is a sect of fundamentalism. Everything. Fucking sue me, don't care. That's how I feel about it. So, so even like on the show, when I first started, I was really scared to offend people, because like I left religion a while ago, but I wouldn't come right out and be like, I don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. Like it took a long time to come and say that, but now I'm like, that's my belief. I don't care. And if you are offended, that isn't my intent, but you're probably just not my people. And that's okay. I'm not meant for everyone. And I'm learning to draw that line really firmly, so that like I tell my clients, like, if you're hiding who you are, like, your people can't find you. And it's really important that your people find you. So that's where I'm at, is just like, I don't know, if I like it, I'm into it. And I'm real good at hyperfixating on shit. So if I find something I'm interested in, I'm gonna fucking dive in until I found this new song. I don't even know who this guy is. I think it's Marino. I think that's his name. And I think it's called I'm Doing Fine. It's got the best little beat. And I have listened to it probably 7 times in the last 3 days.
Yep. I think I know the song, and I would have never heard it, but is the video just like a freeze frame of him smiling? I don't know. I found
it on TikTok, and at the bottom it'll be like, here's the Apple Music link, and I'll just click that if I like a song, and it will automatically create a TikTok playlist. So I just found it on that, and it came up on the playlist, and I hardly even listen to that playlist anymore because it's got too much sad shit on it. But it popped up, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm into this little ditty over here. Just boom. Yeah.
Is it Marino? Marino, I think.
It's so good.
I'm gonna check that out. Yeah.
I love it so much.
You're right. The whole not wanting to offend people, the people pleasing thing, right?
I was a good girl. No one has to worry about the good girl. You know what I mean?
I hear that being an oldest child is one of those things. So I'm an oldest child. I've never really taken much stock in that, actually, but
Oh,
it
the
makes
oldest
sense.
child bears the brunt of every unreasonable expectation that a parent has, as well as every ounce of anything they haven't healed within themselves, because we literally don't know what the fuck we're doing. My fucking poor oldest kid. I mean, shit, I could say, like, he barely even survived the first month of his life because I was just a dumbass, like, just doing, like, so in my ego about the fucking car seat. Like, yeah, I know how to use a car seat, bitch. No, I didn't. I didn't know how to use the car seat, and I didn't ask for help. And if I had wrecked, the baby would have died. Fell asleep with him on the couch at 6 days old. No, 6 weeks old. Somehow ends up on the floor. You know, like, I just did so many dumb things. And I pushed a lot of that religious rhetoric onto him. I mean, like, this baby would walk around, and if he made a mistake, he'd be like, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but he'd be like, sorry, Jesus. Sorry, God. He's 22 now, and he's like, yeah, I know, but I kind of wish that, like, I did believe, because, like, the people who believe, like, they're a little more hopeful than me. And I was like, baby, you just haven't found something right to believe in. You'll get there.
I know what he should believe in. Yeah. So I don't know if you know. So my page and channel and everything kind of is called Here There Be Gods. And I don't know if I ask you what you interpret of that, because I'm interested to know how that's perceived by other people, because it makes sense to me. So I often forget that other people aren't the same.
You know, if I wasn't into or even have friends that are like spiritualist, I probably wouldn't have known anything. But for the way that I interpreted it, like, I watched this lady called Rewilding with Sabrina Lynn, and she's really into using, like, energy of gods and goddesses. So I assumed it was just a spiritualist, how to work with different energies kind of thing.
No, that makes sense, actually. And I think I remember thinking that it might be classed as being religious, definitely. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be famous enough that it's not going to matter, because people will be like, oh, it's Here There Be Gods. That's got nothing to do with religion. No, so the whole point behind it is that I believe there were a whole lot of different synchronicities and things that came to me, like, over a period of time. And they all kind of kept pointing back to the same, like, resounding fact that we are all gods. And when I say that, it's, even as I say it, I know that there is.
Is it like you're the magic, like you're the light?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you create your own reality.
Yes, and this is what I mean by it coming through in multiple different ways. So we talk about, you get mindset coaches. People are coaching mindset, right? Your mindset creates your reality. Well, you know, who else? What else? What other entity and thing can be? Being can create reality? Well, that would be gods. And then there are other things like the Bible, for example, which I haven't read, by the way. I wasn't raised religious, but I just, it's like you're praying to, it's like our Father, you're praying to God, you're praying to, whereas and so what you're doing is you're putting your faith up there and you're praying for the power or the ability to deliver what it is that you're asking for. Whereas if you just kind of went a step further and just prayed, like, myself, give me the strength that I had, to do the things that I need to do, you will often find you get the same result.
Right.
And the other thing I was trying to encompass with that is that it really is us, because even if, so say it's a Christian God, it's still your belief in the Christian God that makes the Christian God real anyway.
Right.
So it's a way for anybody with any religion to kind of just take back some of the power and stop putting it elsewhere, like on
all of the power. And you know what this reminds me of?
us.
Like when you said in the beginning how we minimalize and we trivialize and we dismiss our own experiences and we put these other people's experiences separated from us. We do that in the opposite way too, where we place people or God or whoever on this pedestal up out of our reach so that we can continue our negativity bias that says like, I don't have control, I'm whatever, and it is not within my power to change these circumstances. It is all of these things happening around me, and those people are just lucky, or they are good people, or whatever the case may be. And that's just not true. And I'm on this journey right now in this very moment, the last week, where because I was raised in a church, some of that thinking kind of hangs on. And so like when I receive something that I've been manifesting, I'm saying thank you in gratitude, but as if I didn't have shit to do with it. Bitch, I fucking had everything to do with it. You know what I mean? And so like getting to this place, like the other day I got something, who fucking remembers what it was, but I was like, oh my God. Oh, it was when I got the, what's it called? The email about my Good Pods ranking. And I was like, holy fuck, dude, that's amazing. And then I was like, thank you. And then I went to sleep. And then the next day I was like, you know what? I didn't say thank you to me. And I did a lot of fucking work on this podcast to get it to where it is. You know what I mean? Like I have been consistent through a bunch of fucking bullshit, through all of the times when editing fucked me over and made me look like a moron, and you know, something crashed, or, you know, whatever else. That was me, man. That was me that didn't quit. And that's me that just put out episode 113 today. Like I did that. So I don't want to take away from any sort of divinity, but also I did that. And I need to get into gratitude for me, because that is a part of that whole, like, the highest frequency is love. And that is the love that you have for you. And I've gotten really good at that and loving myself first and all of that, but I just don't know that I have enough gratitude for myself. So I think that's really important as a part of self-love, and not putting ourselves, separating us from others by placing anyone on a pedestal. Because now when I meet people, I would like to think that I could meet my little like hero, Drew Barrymore, and I would feel like I'm talking to a normal person, because yes, she's famous. She got so much more fucking money than I do, but that's not what makes people people. Like, who cares? So I don't see her anymore as anybody who has more talent than me, more drive than me, any of that. She's got some better connections than me, I will guarantee that. But like, she's not a better person than me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we do too much of that.
Yeah. So it is. It's a dynamic. So that also comes back right back around again. It's that you know, we look at celebrities, and if you have enough people on the planet that worship you, it's going to elevate you. And that's right. And one of the first things that really got me started on this journey was I was just sitting somewhere and I heard like some kind of podcast came on about affirmations and things. I don't know. You were talking about gratitude. Does that, do you partake in affirmations?
Oh yeah.
At all? Yeah. And it was just something simple too. It was about worthiness at all, you know, like worth, I guess, self-worth and being worthy. And at the same time, while it was kind of just playing, I was reading a book at the same time, and it was a person talking about a story about where they went. It was like must have been a support group of some kind, and what they needed to do was take turns at saying, "I am worthy." And am I loud enough? I'm not sure. My microphone's extremely temperamental.
No, you're good. I'm just adjusting in my bed.
Now, straight away, the person starts talking about how they weren't even actually able to say it, and they basically started crying. And I was like, right. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking interesting. And then I tried to say it myself. There was no one around either. It was just me. And it felt very uncomfortable to just even say the words coming out of my mouth. Felt really foreign. And I was like, fuck, I am worthy. Why does it sound so fucked? It was so weird. I was like, this seems really uncomfortable. It's making my skin
really
crawl.
Disconnected from the word.
And I was like, well, and then I kind of just sat with it for a bit and was thinking, I was like, man, I'm 30, I'm 35 now, and I've never even said that out loud. It's so bad that I don't even. I was like, if I can't say it, how can I believe that?
Yeah.
And that pretty much hit me, and I was like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna start saying this so much that it's easy, it's comfortable. And then I was actually thinking even more. I was like, well, what about my parents? I wonder if my parents have ever said that. They haven't either, and haven't really had much of a discussion with them about it. But it's like pushing 60 and stuff, and I'm like, fuck, imagine living 60 years without
Not
being able
feeling
to, without,
worthy. Yeah.
no. And I think as a whole, as a population, we get very comfortable with being mediocre and just fucking wake up. Honestly, the whole kind of wake up, go to work, do the same thing every day, and it is
Well, because
sad.
this is the part of avoidance that people are misunderstanding. What we are doing as humans is we are quitting before we start. We get really comfortable, like you said, being mediocre, because if we never try, we don't have to fail. And we avoid feelings of failure, feelings of fear, all of those things, and they hold us back because intentionally that's what we're doing it intentionally, whether it's conscious or subconscious. That is the goal, is to prevent us from getting ourselves in a situation where we get our hopes up just to be disappointed, because the first time we felt that in childhood, it hurt too much, and we don't ever want to feel that again, so we work really fucking hard to not. And how many beautiful things have we missed out on in life because we were so fucking sure it wasn't going to work out? Even like relationships where like I'm like the queen of like, I'm going to reject you before you have a chance to reject me. I didn't really realize I did all that, but I fucking did. So whatevs. But how many things have we missed out on because we're so sure it's not going to work out? And
Yep.
and that's literally all it is avoidance. And how much more can we access who the fuck we were supposed to meant to be if we're just really comfortable with the fact that like things are going to hurt us, and we're going to feel like failures sometimes, and we're going to feel embarrassed sometimes, and we're going to feel rejected. You know, we're going to feel abandoned. We're going to feel all the shit sometimes. And you just commit to feeling it and moving the fuck on. Because you know what? All the shit I ever did in my life to try and avoid feeling was so much harder than the
Yeah,
things
right.
I have experienced just through feeling. Feeling something for literally 5 minutes or less, and then having the ability to release it, versus all of the years spent overthinking, all of the times, you know, the year I drank too much, did a lot more than that. It was a good
Yeah.
time. But, you know, like I've done a lot of things to numb, and they hurt me so much more than feeling. But I didn't know that. I was just so afraid. So I couldn't let go of control. But in this
Yeah,
new
that's it, right?
life, you just have to surrender, you know?
Because you're right though. So control that's one of the massive things that I see the most. It's like everything you see, you can almost always link it back to control,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's control of like the masses, if it's
Oh,
control
yeah.
of, you know what I mean? So that thing you're talking about holding, like sitting with emotions. So I'm still learning now. So it wasn't until I had kids that I was able to realize that, okay, you got massive fucking problems, which is like the inability to regulate my emotions with, while having the responsibility of taking care of someone else,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Which
which
is
was
the
good
literal
in a
worst. It's
way.
the literal fucking worst to
Yeah,
be
it's not their
like,
fault.
cool, you're crying and it's kind of making me feel violent. Shit.
Yeah, so like what I found, so I actually, without trying to get into labels, because I don't like subscribing to them. I think they're difficult. They
Yeah.
make it problematic because as soon as you kind of throw them up. So I got diagnosed autistic and ADHD about a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing really changed for me in terms of the way that I view anything, except it helped me understand and forgive myself for a lot of the times where I thought I was just a fucking shit person having meltdowns and I'd like break a bunch of shit. Now I understand that that was because I had no idea about my personal limits and boundaries, and being that kind of having that people pleasing mentality where you
Yeah.
constantly put other people first.
Mm-hmm.
What that does to me, at least, is it drains my ability to uh, hold space for like compassion and kindness for other people. So I become really shitty and
Well, you're resentful after, when you get to that place of like, I've used more fuel than I had in the tank, it's burnout, and you're resentful because you know what you're doing when you do that is you're loving in the way you want to be loved.
yeah. And so once I understood, I was able to take accountability and responsibility for the things that led me to that burnout. So now if someone's like, "Can you give me a hand with this?" I'll check in with myself and say, "Look," I'll be like, "Okay, I've done this and this and this. If I do, then it's likely that my kids will probably pay the price later because they're going to want to play, and I'm going to be like, no, I'm too fucking tired or what. So it's less about now I have a label and I can hide behind it, and it's more
Sure.
around the fact that I now like self-discovery in a way, right? So now
Yeah.
I know myself better. So before I knew the things that I did like and the things that I didn't, whereas now I know the things that I kind of can't control. So that kind of comes around to the human design things that you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about as well. I had a reading a little while ago, and that in itself opened up a bit more. It kind of showed
What
me
are
that
you?
I'm a projector, an
I knew you were
emotional
going to
projector.
fucking say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that helps me. I mean, to be fair, it's almost like the dominoes just fucking clicked, man, because
Uh-huh.
my whole life I have always seen things be playing out, especially in my own relationships, right? Which is like with my parents, with my partner, my kids. I can see how it's going to go, and so I act based on how I see it going, and then it kind of affects it, makes it go negatively, because what I learned is I'm not supposed to be using those abilities or that gift in my own life. They're for
Right.
others. And
Right.
so the vision that comes with it, or being able to like step back and see the big picture and see things that way, is my way of helping other people. And I also have to wait for an invitation. If I try to offer the information or offer some help without an invitation, it's usually taken, I guess, like negatively, or people are like, "Oh, fuck off! You don't know what you're talking about," or
Defensive,
I'll say,
and
"Who asked you?" Right? Yeah, because
they
it
can't
which
receive it.
that makes sense, right? Because it means that people are in the right space if they're asking for help. And so,
Right.
at the moment, my challenge is, how do I put this? Is putting out an invitation or a statement or something that allows people to see, oh, okay, he is. If I need anything or if I want some help, all I need to do is ask, and then I can go from there. But yeah, because you said you're a generator, manifester.
Yeah, I'm a generator. My daughter's a manifester.
Yeah. So it's that in itself, right? The relationship dynamics, just people in your area. My kids and my partner they're all generators, and because I'm not, it means that when I'm in with them all, there's just a constant flow of energy that
Mhm.
because I don't produce my own, it is very foreign, and it does. So I now know why when they all want to have family time, I can't sit still. I have to be doing something. I need to go and do this or do that or draw, create, make
Mhm.
videos, play video games or something. It's always something. And now I use that energy that they have to kind of just plan things instead of actually trying to get away from them. And because
Yeah.
if I didn't know before, it was like I needed to escape. I couldn't be within a space. I needed to just go and have it be quiet. But I'm getting a lot better at just sitting with that. And it's good. It's so good, man. Because one thing did was feel guilty about the fact that my kids stressed me out so much that I had like a physiological response. I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck,
brother, me
I'm such an
too.
asshole, man. I'm
Yeah,
such a
I feel
prick."
you.
I was like, and there's guilt there's so much guilt that comes with that. So being
Yeah.
able to let all of that stuff go, man, is really good. Yeah, I think that just knowing yourself way better is like key,
Well,
and
and you,
so many of us don't want to.
right. And what you just said is such a great example of how we can kind of start to stretch our comfort zone. Because I do that too, where like I'll sit in the living room with everyone and, my nerves are getting shot or whatever. And I'm like, well, this is a good opportunity to practice mindfulness, practice this. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes I just have to run away. But like I'm a generator. My 2 boys are generators. And then my daughter's a manifester. My husband's a manifesting generator. So it's an eclectic little bunch, but my daughter is very different. And she's got the biggest displays of feelings. And it's just too much for me sometimes because certain noises, I'm out. Like, I just can't do it. Like, why do you have to talk in your screechy voice right now? Like, that's something that just drives me crazy. But I have learned you can't fucking tell her what to do because it drives her crazy. I was glad I learned that because, like, I'll be like, Charlie, you really need to go to bed now. And she'll be like, I was about to go to my room and now I don't want to because you told me to. She's 10. She's 10 and she knows that about herself. So I was just like, I'm sorry. You're right. Just, yeah, whenever you feel like it. Because it's not fucking worth the response I'm going to get if I continue to push. It is not worth it. And so human design has helped me to feel okay about not pushing in those scenarios. Cause I'm like, what we were taught on how to raise kids.
Yeah. See, so
different.
Right. So I find that a lot of my responses come from those conditioned things, right? So if the way my kids speak to me, if I spoke to my parents that way, it would not have gone well. And so when they speak to me that way at home, it's like, okay. And then I work through it. But again, sometimes when they catch, it's like we're out in public or whatever, and they catch me with it, I immediately feel myself.
It makes you react.
Well, it definitely, it's getting better now to being like, okay, what is that? That's my feeling. That's not theirs. So I'm also sending them mixed messages if I turn around and be like, don't fucking speak to me that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, or we don't talk to people like that. And it's like, well, actually we do. We just do it in the comforts of our own home.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And this is one of the ways that we program kids. God knows it happened to me about acting one way here and another way here and teaching them how to create the mask. And I'm like, no, like I find myself all the time wanting to be like, hey, don't tell your friends about that. I mean, like the dumbest shit. Yeah. And I refuse because that's the type of life I grew up in, but it's still so hard not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, cause my daughter's 9, she's nearly 10, and my son is 5 and nearly 6. And he's a lot free, oldest and youngest, but he's very free with his, like his voice and stuff. So says what he's thinking, says what he's feeling. Mm-hmm. He's loud. He's so loud. Right. And it's like we go places and he's having a good time. And I feel myself constantly like uncomfortable, like, hey, shh, just like, it's all right. Have fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know it's my issue. And it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter yet. Up until this point, I'm struggling still to just let it go and let him be as loud and thing as he wants. No one's ever actually come up and said, excuse me, can you please be quiet? I just am terrified that they will, which is...
And is he just like talking to you in a store and is just talking loudly or like...
It's just, I think he yells though. He's not just talking. He's really loud.
Does he have hearing stuff?
He's had his hearing checked. It's fine. He just doesn't. He chooses not to listen.
I love it. Yeah. I'm loud. I get it.
He's unapologetic, and he's like, he'll just ask his, the usual questions. Why is this like in the most opportune places? He's just always there, and I love it. I just
He's there to make you grow, brother. He's helping you.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, man, I want to be more like that. That's what I want to do.
Exactly. Just like that no fucks given kind of thing. I always tell myself, because public shit, ooh, embarrassment again equals rage for me. Like, don't fucking shame my ass in public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've gotten to this place where like immediately when I feel like my face starting to flush, I'm like, why do I care? Oh, because someone told me to when I was a kid. It doesn't fucking matter. And I move on. But there's lots of things like I've talked a lot about this on here, but about teaching my daughter ownership over her body and how like I had to completely switch that mindset of like, if a stranger comes up, you know how boomers love to come tell little girls how pretty they are. And so like if someone did that, I would always, my instinct was to be like, say thank you. And, you know, through the years, I've been like, well, why? I mean, she didn't ask for the stranger to come say that to her. And if she's not comfortable to speak to the stranger, she should get to decide that. Well, I do that. And I'm going to let you know every fucking time she ignores them, I am so fucking uncomfortable the entire time. Like, because I'm like, I'm also not going to model making this stranger comfortable, because we didn't ask you to approach us. And boomers need to learn little girls aren't your property. Like, I don't care if it's a man, woman, whoever, that you don't get to just come up and say that. And then if she was comfortable and she's like, thank you, I'm in my, you know, pink hair era or whatever the fuck, that's fine. You can say thank you. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but that's the point. It's up to you. And I just grew up in this environment that was like, it's your job to make everybody else fucking comfortable. And how many times did I not stand up for myself, all because I didn't want to make somebody uncomfortable? Literally, like I was like, well, I mean, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I don't want to make it weird, or I don't want to blah. No, those are not the answers. So like, it is so fucking uncomfortable to teach her to stand in her own authority, because she does it. And I'm like, and then we just walk off, because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna take our little cart and keep walking now. But I mean, every time I watch her stand in that power, and every time there's some scenarios where maybe she does know the people, but they're pushing her boundaries and she needs some help, she'll look to me and I'll step in and be like, no. But for the most part, she's pretty good at standing in her own authority. But it's such a good confirmation to me too. Like, nobody died. No, everything's fine. It was awkward and uncomfortable. We made the stranger feel awkward and uncomfortable, and that sucks. It's not what I wanted, but I don't want my daughter to feel like it's her job to make everybody else feel comfortable.
See, I think that's it though, as well, is like one of my best friends he's always saying, it's okay. The uncomfortable thing, it is. So the people pleasing, like as you say, being uncomfortable sucks.
Yes.
So we do whatever we can to fix it straight away, because we want to minimize the amount of time that we feel uncomfortable. And that's with everything, really. So it's like if someone in your household is in a shitty mood, it's like, oh, what can I do?
Yes, where you start anticipating their needs, and you're like, maybe if I do this, it'll help their mood. I just did this with my almost 18-year-old last night. He was in a fucking mood. I have no idea, because he wasn't speaking. So I was like, the fuck? My little mama heart was in there like, maybe I should make him some food. And I was like, no, if he needs something, he gonna have to come ask for it, because it's not my fucking job, even as his mom, to go stalk his ass and be like, what's going on? Like, he has to learn to ask for what he needs too. And I mean, I don't think he needed anything, and that's why he didn't ask. And it's not my job, even though I'm his parent, to run in there and try to fix whatever was wrong.
Yeah, so that happened actually yesterday. My daughter was having something similar, just kind of like, it was a lot. She had heaps of emotions going, and so it's uncomfortable. You want to fix it because you want it to stop.
Yes.
But also, so aside from the fact that I'm just trying to make my uncomfortable feelings, whether it's anger, irritation, just, it's sad to see them say it too. So there's that, but trying to stop it is kind of, I suppose, a little bit selfish in a way, because it's like, I just want whatever you're feeling. At least,
You're
this is what I'm telling
them so that you can dismiss the discomfort in yourself.
Yeah, so this is what I'm telling myself or reminding myself is that it's not fair of me to fix whatever problem they've got going because it doesn't allow her to like learn how to do it herself. And I don't recall that happening for me. I think I just learned how to squash it myself.
Well, we were told to rub some dirt and walk it off. So like,
Yeah, so
you know what I
maybe
mean?
that.
Like
Maybe it's
that's
that.
how
It's
we
kind of
did it,
like,
was we just shoved shit down.
yeah. So not to say that my thoughts and emotions and stuff weren't listened to, but it's more like it's in. I think I started to view emotions and stuff as just inconvenient. That's why I laugh when like emotionally unavailable. I was like, yeah, I guess that's true because for the most part, I can just see emotions as being just inconvenient, and then which also tied in with the whole autism thing, I suppose. But it's just
Right.
it is. It's like, well, if I'm going to deliver these facts to you, I'm just going to deliver them. And if you don't like it, now we're going to have to go down this rabbit hole of you don't feel very good about them. You didn't like it. You're accusing me of being, rude or hurtful or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, well, facts are facts, man. They don't really care about your feelings, but I care about your feelings. And because you're upset, I'm now upset. And
Yeah.
because I'm upset, I want to fix it. And it just goes around in circles. So now I'm trying to I think I found like, I'm all about, well, I say simplicity. The easiest thing I found is to just like compassion seems to be the overarching thing that covers most of these different things.
Absolutely.
It's like if I just hold, if I just have compassion for every single person that I'm dealing with, it's so much easier than trying to remember all of the other kind of little mental tips they give you. Like if
Right,
someone
yeah.
cuts you off in traffic, it's like compassion that'll save you because it's like, right,
Yes.
if it's like if you're arguing with someone, if you can remind yourself, even if it's for like a brief second, to have compassion, it's like, right, they are getting more elevated. Maybe it's because I have said something that has upset them, and holding.
Right.
Honestly, I just found compassion was
Holding
easier than trying
space.
to
Yeah.
remember everything, right? And I was
I
like, it's not a bad
totally
word.
agree with that because that was kind of what changed my life, was being like, okay, I found this love and compassion for myself, and I kind of started to see that we're all doing the same shit for the same reasons. Yeah, kind of have to uncover some shit to get there, but you realize like we're saying the same negative shit to ourselves. And I started to try to see, like in my immediate environment, how I was doing the same things that I was getting pissed off about. And maybe that is why I was so pissed about it happening in the first place, is because I was covered in shame when I did it. And so because I have chastised the shit out of myself, I now have to judge the shit out of you too. And whenever I decided, if it's something I need to work on, I'll work on it, but I'm still going to love it. I'm not going to hate any ounce of myself, and I love it all, and I'm going to embrace all of it, and I will transform. That's what we do. We evolve, but I don't separate myself from others anymore. It's not a us versus them. It's we're all humans doing the same shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. That's fucking so true. So I've been learning a little bit more about you might see around 3D, 4D, 5D, and it's confusing as
A little bit.
yeah. So like, I guess the main reason I started my channel was to take all of this stuff, right? Heaps of esoteric shit, and just make it a bit more digestible for people who don't really, they kind of just get turned off or like put off or swipe away from someone who sits there very, I'm going to say pretentious is probably the best way to describe it. So I really want to try avoid becoming very pretentious, but it does get hard because it's like the more that you kind of understand,
I totally know, because you're like,
the more
no,
pretentious you
I've
become,
reached a higher level of consciousness now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it really is though. But we just have to like accept that as our gift that we unwrapped earlier than other people. And it is our job to take that gift and to share it with others. So how can we do that if we don't have full belief that we were put on this earth to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that like I say all the time, because like one of my gifts really is like when I speak passionately, it fucking touches people in a place they haven't been touched before. You know what I mean? And I'm always like, I gotta be careful because like I could for real be a fucking cult leader. Like I know that. I know that people listen when I talk. So I have to like stay really true to me at all times because first of all, I don't want to let my ego get in the way of anything I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And separating false pride from just pure fucking elevated love and compassion for myself, it can be tricky. I mean, I stay humbled because my income, you know what I'm saying? But like overall, I feel really, I don't think I feel really any differently than I ever have because I've always felt like this was my purpose. But it's trickier now that I have a platform because I don't want to mislead people either, and I don't want people to feel hurt by me, but I'm also like, hey, you're either meant for me or you're not. Use your own discernment. You can take what I say that fits and fuck off the rest. Who cares? I don't care, you know, and I'm still learning. I fucking learn as much from everyone else as anyone is learning from me. Like I love these like conversations because I learned something in every one of them. And I get like, you know, when we started this call, I was like, I'm in a shit fucking mood. I'm no longer in a shit fucking mood, which is great because I have 2 clients right after you. So like sucks to start those out in a shit mood. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think standing in your authority and just saying like, no, I have shit to say. I have shit to say, and I'm not going to be embarrassed, and I'm not going to hold myself back anymore, and I'm not going to limit my potential, and I'm not going to hide my gifts. I'm not going to water myself down, make myself small, because why? That's what somebody told me I need to do because we're supposed to be humble and serve? No, fuck that. I'm serving myself full of love and compassion, and from that overflow, I give to others. But if I don't have the time, energy, or resources, your ass is getting ignored until I do.
Yeah, that's right. So you put yourself first, absolutely. That's it though, right? It's yourself first because you can't do anything for anyone else if you're pouring from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole elevation and things, speaking to other people, it's almost like if we forget that we have the like, you know, what is it? We can change what we believe in, and that changes, right? It's almost like we seem to think that if we say something now, it means that we aren't allowed to change our minds or our opinions later, right? So whenever I speak or I try to make these videos or anything I'm doing, it's always in my experience because this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I'm speaking from is my experience up until now. If things change for me, then I will speak differently. And like, I'm not afraid for someone to be like, well, you said this before. And I'll be like, yes, and this is why.
No better, do better.
I've been working with a group called Electric Blue Communications. A friend of mine who I met through this work, her name is Marcy Dean, and she's actually on a show right now called The Blocks. I've never heard of it in my country, but have you ever heard? It's like a show for entrepreneurs.
No, but I'm not really like in touch.
Fair enough. I don't watch TV really myself, but so what we are trying to do at the moment is we're working to build like a platform online where kind of people who are at any different stage of their, I'm going to say spiritual awakening, but effectively awakening is enough to cover it because you might turn up through like discipline training or mindset, or you might have just heard the word synchronicity. But what we're trying to do is build a platform where people who are just beginning or people who are at that pretentious level can kind of all get together and find people who can help them to the next step of the journey, I guess. Because
love that. Yeah.
Like the more I learn, the more I want to give back. And I also know that there are people who are up, you know, far up above myself where I can learn more from them. And there's also people that might just be kind of afraid to enter into believing in themselves. And I'm hoping that we can kind of get all the people together in an order that just kind of, it's like a step up or a hand up, because
Yeah.
I would say the collective consciousness at the moment is just like pretty, like just fucking sad, and it's just this
Yeah.
like real miserable,
People are
negative kind
very
of thing
scared.
permeating,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I've noticed is like once you move up to like I guess another level, it does there's none of that sort of stuff there. It's very positive and there's a lot of love and compassion and kindness. But then I can go like literally a couple blocks over and it's not the same. It's
Right.
it's
Mm-hmm.
very disparate, and I just wanna do my part, I guess, So it's
Yeah.
like anyone, yeah, if and when I first started, I was just if I could help one person feel better about themselves and stuff like that, then it was worth it for me. And I know that I've had feedback and stuff from people saying like, "Oh, this really helped me," and it's like, "Cool, man, thank you. I
I
needed
love
that
that.
today. I fucking
Yeah.
needed it because I was like, I don't want to do this today." And someone said something positive, and it was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
Yes. I love when things like that happen right at the right time.
Yeah, it's like this, for example. Like I was just, I had that dream the other day. And I was like, "Damn, that's synchronicity. I'm going to follow up on this," and then like here we are, and I've got no doubt we'll talk again. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, I do have to go because I have a client, but if there's ever anything that you want to collaborate on, I know our time zones are real shit, but like hit me up. I'm
Well,
here for it.
Will do. Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for coming on. So I was your first podcast.
Yes. So I'm going to remember this one.
I
Fuck
love
yeah.
getting to be people's first podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
Hell yeah. So
how,
I'm gonna
how
always be like, oh, I remember my first podcast. Like right now, if you can tell, I'm filling in my kid's room at the moment. So I was like, I kicked them out for the night, and I was like, let's do this. I was like, this is gonna be. I'll be able to look back and be like, cool. This is our fucking first podcast. Awesome.
Well, I'm so excited I got to be your first because, well, I mean, I think I'm pretty casual. I've been on a few that I was like, that felt like a job to fill out some shit and do some other things, but that's fine. That's fine. And I don't like to do the prepare questions ahead of time. I don't like any of that because I didn't expect to be in a shit mood this morning. So like if I had prepared shit, then I would have been like, I'm not feeling that. So, I just like to be totally organic. And I think
Flow
that's what
state.
we
That's
got.
the one.
So thank you so much. I'm serious. And I know that we were supposed to connect. So stay in touch.
Will do.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Emotionally unavailable.
Hey, what do you say? Listen, first and foremost, please make sure that you have provided this podcast with a 5-star rating on whichever platform that you are listening. If you want to support the show, please rate, like, and share. Also like, comment, and share on any social media posts that you see from me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Please follow the podcast Facebook, Emotionally Unavailable Podcast. You can shop my fun online store or schedule a one-on-one with me at emotionallyunavailablepodcast.org. I'm offering what I'm calling non-traditional counseling, astrology readings, and tarot readings. And thank you so much for listening to the Emotionally Unavailable Podcast.
Emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable.
INDEPE and cut.